Hey, what is up guys? Jason here for TechnoBok Unboxings. Today I'm going to bring you the review of this Sony Xperia C. It's a phone that was recently released in about July of 2013. This phone was released and I'm pretty excited to actually bring you this review. I was sent it by Sony's marketing team a couple of days ago, and since then I'm glad to report everything I've done on this phone I've absolutely loved. If you read a bit about my reviews online, I recently spoke about how Asia is very much into their dual SIM card phones, and it's something which hasn't caught on much in the Western world, but we are slowly starting to catch on, and everyone who I show this phone to, whether they're in business or just for personal use, seems to see the value in having a phone that can actually handle two SIM cards running simultaneously. That means using data off one, phone calls off the other, both running at the same time. However you choose to use it, they start to see that having two SIM cards running in a phone is extremely handy. What you're immediately greeted with when you open the box here is the device itself. And Sony have really pulled out all the stops here. For a device that's kind of coming in at a mid price point, mid to lower price range in terms of smartphones, they're really offering a big package with this device. In the box itself, as you take it out there, you get your standard sort of micro USB style sync charge cable. Of course, there's your standard wall plug, and then on this side of the box here you get some quite snazzy looking Sony headphones. Quite nice that they haven't used the traditional, the in-ear headphones, which often are a bit cheap in feel. These are quite nice sort of style headphones. And then on this side, of course, your usual startup guides, manuals, that kind of stuff. But let's get the box out the way for a second. Jump straight into the device, which I have been using for the last couple of days and I'm really enjoying using. When you look at the device itself, you'll immediately notice that it looks much like its big brother, the Xperia Z, which I've also recently reviewed. And in the feel of using it is also much like the Xperia Z. Everyone, in fact, I've showed it to who's actually seen my review of the Xperia Z and seen it in person when they've been with me, has said that this phone is very much almost gives you an Xperia Z kind of feel, but at a much lower price point. Of course, the Xperia Z is a much more powerful device. It has sort of a higher spec range, but that being said, this is no slouch either. Andrew Fraser, the head of marketing for Sony Mobile for South Africa, actually said when he announced this phone that it's a phone that's actually offers value. So as far as being a price point, there are cheaper smartphones on the market, but this is actually an amazing value phone. It may not be the cheapest phone out of all the smartphones on the market, but what it offers for its price point is exceptional. You're getting dual SIM card technology, a quad-core processor running at 1.2 gigahertz, 5-inch display, which is an awesome size, so anything you do on this phone looks amazing. You're getting an 8-megapixel camera with Sony's Exmor R technology, image stabilization, really nice 1080p video quality, shoots in full HD, and apart from that, you're getting a phone that's extremely functional. It's got the front-facing camera, it's running Android 4.2.2 straight out of the box, 1 gig of RAM. It's very snappy. Everything I've done on here, I've played a few games on it, I've used quite a few types of apps, and nothing's really slowed the phone down. Of course, you're getting the full functionality of Google Now. And generally, the one thing that's amazing with the Xperia C, as I mentioned earlier, is when you open the phone, to open this phone is actually something a bit different to your normal phone. It's to your average sort of smartphone you're used to using. In fact, when I was sent the phone, I actually couldn't figure out how to open it for a while, then only to realize when I read the manual that it's actually a kind of a clamshell design where the whole phone fits within the shell. Let me just take it aside a sec, get it out for you, and then I'll show you exactly what I mean. What you do is the whole back of the phone comes off in a kind of a clamshell style, and then over there you've got a non-removable user battery as well as 2 SIM slots. As you can see at the moment, I've only got one occupied and a micro SD slot up there. But when you put dual SIM in, it gives you the awesome ability of having the ability to choose, the awesome option of having the ability to choose which SIM card you'd like to perform which task. So for example, what I found, which is quite nice, Cell C in this country often offer very good value on data deals, but maybe you want your calls to be filtered through MTN, Virgin Mobile, one of the other big carriers, and this phone gives you that ability, which few phones can actually offer. And so that's quite nice, and you can actually choose what exactly you want it to do. So if I go into the options on the device here, you'll see I get my dual SIM card settings, if I click that, I can actually set some calls and messaging, data traffic, where I want it to be filtered through. And it's just a really nice way to be able to do things. And of course, it's nice to know that the phone out the box is actually running a very late version of Android. And I'm a massive fan of the way Sony pull it off. They always leave their Android overlays to have an incredibly stock sort of feel. So as you can see while I'm using the device, it's much like Google's Nexus. And having that stock feel makes it even more snappy and makes the phone perform even better than many of the phones that use their sort of overlays, which just bog down the whole system. So yeah, this has just been my quick unboxing and review of Sony's latest device, the Xperia C. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be also posting a written review on the webpage. Please continue to watch my videos and subscribe if you're enjoying them. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers for now.